come the Big Rig Kids, y'all. Are you ready? Let's go. Here come the Big Rig Kids, roll with the Big Rig Kids. Let's fire the truck, take you to such amazing places with the Big Rig Kids. Those helpful Big Rig Kids, see how they give and grow and get to know amazing things. Learn with the Big Rig Kids, and you'll see how it is to have adventure days and hang and play with all your friends. Because the Big Rig Kids know what it is to live a most exciting and inviting life is positive.
Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Grandma Polly. That's right, everybody. We have someone very exciting and special tonight who's doing wondrous things throughout the community and making the world a better place. But before we get into that, let's give it up to the one and only, you all know her, who we love, the one and only Grandma Polly. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, good evening, and happy Thursday. Thank you, Kenneth, for that wonderful introduction. We have two wonderful guests who's going to be here this evening. And first, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Antonio Bonds. I know many of you have watched the HBO series, The Wire. Well, part of Antonio's life story has been created in that movie. It was actually the life that he lived that inspired this movie. He's been incarcerated for 35 years now. And during his period of incarceration, for the last 25 years, Antonio, he found his way back to the teachings of his parents, and he's always found his way to redemption. On the inside of those walls, he has managed to become a youth advocate against youth violence, against the school dropout rate, and against school shootings. He's the founder of an organization called SOS, Save Our Children. This program allows him to provide coping mechanism skills to inmates, which also helps them with social skills, passing their GED exams, job trainings, and so much more. Mr. Bonds has also authored two books. His revised version of Prison is Not a Playground. It's on Amazon right now. It was released this week. You guys make sure you go out and purchase it. It's an awesome read. It has workbook pages in it where the kids read the chapters and they, go and answer the questions. And it's a good book for parents and children together. I read it and it is an awesome book. This man is so candid and the things that happened in his life that led him into prison. So I would suggest that you all go out and purchase that book. Antonio is going to be talking to us via phone. But I also want to introduce someone else to you who's very dear and special to me. And her name is Shakieta Maloye. Shakieta is the founder and CEO of Another Chance House of Refuge. Her program is designed to empower men re-entering society after being released from incarceration. Another Chance House of Refuge work with ex-convicts by promoting self-sufficiency through safe housing, educational support, workforce, job training, and life skill enhancement. Shakieta is right there in Charlotte, North Carolina, a place I've lived for almost 20 years before I moved to Atlanta. And this is the hardest working woman I know. So without giving any more details, I want you guys to help us welcome Shakieta. Welcome Mr. Anthony Bonds. He will be calling in about a minute. And while we're talking, right now, I want y'all to help us welcome them by sharing this. Hit that share hit that share button on the bottom of your screen because I might just be giving away something tonight. And once you hit that share button in the comment section, write done. But of course, give us plenty of red hearts. And we're going to go into the show. I'm going to give you a peek of Shakieta while we're waiting on Mr. Bonds to call in. Thank you, guys.
Uh, having us on your show tonight. I'm excited.
Can
Yes, and you said thank us for having you on the show, but we thank you for accepting our invitation because, as I know, and I'm going to tell the world that Shakieta is the definition of being my brother's keeper. And this is something that we need in society. We need to reach back and help others. We need to reach back and pull each other up. And regardless to what their past was or the choices that these men have made, Sakita found it within her heart to create this program to help get these brothers back on track. And Kenny, have you got anything you or Shakita want to say whilst we're waiting on this phone call? We could just keep talking.
I just can't wait to see the wisdom, the kernels of wisdom, and all the inspiration that's going to be provided in tonight's show. It's it's like people don't go there, but we need to go there, you know.
Yes,
And she's look at that smile, man. Are you kidding me? Both of y'all. I'm just like, wow, to be graced by you two tonight and having the call come in by Mr.
Mr.
Was it?
Barnes.
Yes.
Barnes.
It's going to be a wonderful show, a wonderful addition, and I'm looking forward to learning many things and seeing how I can be a help in society as well too.
There you go. Well, Shakita, I'm going to give you the floor until that phone call comes in. Tell us a little bit about your program and how you got started.
All right. Well, another chance House of Refuge formed November 2019. So we are a fairly new but young organization, and so we've done a lot of over these last almost 2 years.
Oh, I think that's him. Sorry, guys.
Work.
This is great.
Hello.
You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
T. Bond.
an inmate at a federal
Oh
prison.
man.
This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. Hang up to decline the call or to accept, dial 5 now. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To decline this call, hang up.
5.
See?
You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
T. Bond.
an inmate
Hit five.
at a federal prison.
Yeah, I hit
This
5.
call is being recorded and is subject to
Yeah.
monitoring. To decline the call or to accept, dial 5 now. To block any future calls, nature, dial 7 now. To
Oh,
decline
it's
this
not
call,
coming through?
Yeah, it's not.
Have to now to go back in, possibly. The
Yeah.
keypad out of that.
Yeah.
not accepted.
You know what? When I hit the
What?
keypad, I think because it's coming through Skype, it's
Oh, it's not your regular phone?
no, it's coming through Skype.
Oh, okay. I wish I knew that. I would have given him my phone number.
Ah, I'm sorry about that, people.
Yeah, go ahead and keep talking, Shakita.
Okay.
Tell Kenny,
Um.
yeah, go ahead. Let her tell about her program.
Right. So another chance, like I said, we was formed in 2019. Um, of course, COVID hit in 2020, shortly after we formed, and so we had to and figure out how we were going to service the community amidst COVID. And so when COVID first started, we was feeding the community, feeding and some other surrounding areas, 5 to maybe 6 days a week, sometimes seven throughout 2020. And then in 2021, we were blessed to open our first transitional home. And so we have a 10-bedroom, 6 full bath transitional home for men post incarceration. and we help them become self-sufficient. I know firsthand,
Hello, Mr.
what it's
Barnes.
like for members to actually go
All
through
right.
the
So
criminal,
sorry about that. I'm gonna.
and we knew what was needed to help individuals grow, the resources that they would need coming out of incarceration. Unfortunately, I've had many of my family and members go in and out of prison for the majority of all my life. That's what I saw. And I also
Just
saw the
one second,
recidivism.
okay?
With that recidivism, they come out, they don't have the tools, the resources, the connections for them to be able to not struggle, not try to figure it out best way they know how, which leads back to crime. So I thought
Hold
that
that
it would be a
thought.
great idea
That's
to.
that's
Hold that thought.
Yes.
we
Do
have
we
them.
have him, Kenny?
Yes, we have them online.
Hello.
Hey, Antonio, how are you?
I'm doing
Can you
wonderful
hear me,
today.
Kenny?
Yourself?
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
Good.
ma'am.
We're going to
Can you?
pause right here. Since we had problems getting you in, we're going to pause right here and give you the flow.
Yes, ma'am. You ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for having me, Miss Brown. First of all, I would like to say, as far as the new book, "Prison is Not a Playground," revised version, I wrote this book to deter you from going down that dark road that I took, which ends up in two ways. That's prison or the graveyard. This is a book not only for you, for adults as well. This is a book that's going to be one of a kind. Everything in this book is true. It's about my life story. After each chapter, what I have done, I made a discussion session to explain key points. For instance, if I'm talking about heroin in this book, the average young person that in the fourth to fifth grade, they don't know what heroin is. So what I do, I explain to them where it comes from, what it does to the body and the nervous system. And then after that, it's a 10 question and answer where I put the readers into my shoes to see, to make choices that will benefit them, because when it came to choices, I checked in all the wrong box. That's why I've been in prison for the last 35, 36 years. And then what I did in the end of the book, I made a journey entry. So whoever is reading this book, they can actually keep a journal. They can share it, even they can keep it personal. And I did another bonus section, which I made was a life tree, a chain for life. I put 14 words.
This call is from a federal prison.
I put 14 words from love, family, education, community, etc. And I'm asking whoever to read this book to write one sentence of that word and what this word means to you. And then after they do that, they can actually start their own life tree with a tree on the opposite page with a box, so they can build their own life tree. And what I do want to, what I did wanted to do, in which I had chose 4 organizations, I'm going to donate 80% of the first year sales of this book. And the
Wow.
first organization that I had picked was MM2K, Miami's Matter 2K. It's an organization that developed coping mechanisms to overcome the traumatic experience of losing a loved one. And that's a real sad time in a person's life to lose a loved one. I commend her for starting this organization.
Awesome.
Number two, I chose Grace Place School for Girls. This is in Ross County, Florida. And this school offers a road to help these youth escape from sex trafficking and other youth violence that they might be going to. And this school actually charges monthly, but if a child you're not able to fund, they actually does it free. So these donations would actually help them to complete this school with trades. That they have trades, business classes, everything. That's an organization. I commend them too for that. And the third one, I chose Miss Malika Robinson. She's from Tampa, Florida. They have helping through the hurt. This program, they help mental health counselor, youth advocate, human services, and development life skills. And last but not least, Miss Brown, the work you put in, I really commend you. So I am donating 20% to the Big Rig organization for helping homelessness, bullying, counseling, post-traumatic stress, and disorders. So I commend you all. What a great job you all done. And Miss Brown, I have to give you a special thanks too. You did the full words to do this book. You did a wonderful job. And this is one of my ways of giving back to the community that guys like myself has contributed to leaving our youth out there just going in all kind of directions. This is for it, to be honest with you. And so that's why I do what I do. I do have a some special thanks that I want to thank. I would like to thank you for giving a special thanks to Miss Brown and the podcast for having me. And I have an 18. Oh my God, these women has has done so much work for me and let me worry them to death daily. Miss Charlotte from the Netherlands. Oh, I thank Miss Charlotte and her husband, Mr. Loaf, for letting me worry your wife every day. And I mean every day, 7 days a week. And my best friend, the late Douglas Carter, his wife, Miss Melinda Lee. Thank you for being so cooperative with me and going the extra yard and the extra mile to make my dream come true and getting this book out. And I also want to say hi to a very special friend, Africa, who has also been supportive to me in this situation. We did it. And my publisher, I can't leave Destiny out, Miss Destiny Skyer. She's my publisher of this book. She designed the book cover and she did all the work in this book. I commend you, Destiny. Thank you very much. So I want to give a big time thanks and love to all of you for contributing to this. I want to give a shout out to a very special guy, Mr. Donald Gill, my and my friend, and Mr. Greg Wilson. I've known Mr. Greg Wilson since I was about 4 or 5 years old, and he's been one of the biggest supporters that I have for me trying to get my word out to these youngsters. And it was the older ones too, and my children and my grandkids. I love you as well. And now, Miss Brown, what you can do, you can ask some questions if you would like to. I wanted to get that out the way so I won't forget nobody, and I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, we're going to try to get you the next time.
That is awesome. Ooh, my question to you is what I've been asked is how long have you been incarcerated, which you said that, but is there a possibility of you getting parole and coming back into society?
Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, I'm going to process my parole process and hearing now. I'm on the third stage of my parole hearing, so I've been making house plans and where I'm gonna work, where I'm gonna stay, what my occupation is going to be. I'm going to pursue my culinary career because I have a culinary degree, and I want to stay with these youth traveling the country. And I have a very good friend that's going to help me, Mr. Donald Gilliard. This is the work that he's into, and he's going to be one of my biggest helpers.
That is awesome, and I just think Donald. I have to shout him out because it was Donald who connected the two of us together, and just having those conversations with
Yes.
you over the telephone. That's why I'm bringing you back next week for that first 15 minutes. We already got your book information out there. It's on Amazon. We got that out of the way. That next 15 minutes next week, we're just going to sit down and talk about you because I've told, we know that The Wire was inspired behind your life living. And I
Yes.
had the chance to read your book. And I will say
Yes.
to anyone out there listening, a lot of times we want to blame the families, we want to blame where they're living. But you were so candid
Yes.
about you had great parents. You
Yes.
came from a well-rounded family, and it was just choices that you made.
Yes. There's
And
no excuse. Go, I'm sorry.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Miss Brown. Go ahead.
I want you to go
There's
ahead.
no
I got all
excuse
night.
for me. All right. There's no excuse for me, and because I had a great set of parents. But just like I be telling these children, when you leave out the house, I don't know no parent in the world that actually teach their child to be the best bank robber, to be the best drug dealer. Our parents teaches us right from wrong. They're our best teacher for the first 5 years of our life. They're our best teacher. And once we start getting older, and when we step outside those doors, all those values and choices that we made, we have to put them in order. We have to do what we was told. But some of us disregard these. We disregard what we was even taught, and then you get in my situation. You sit back here and you look stupid. I have a saying, and I'll be telling these guys in here. I feel like I'm the biggest sucker in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I done threw 36 years of my life away when I knew better. There's no excuse. And it's a shame for me to have to sit here in the last memories of my mother, my father, of their son, is he sitting in the jail cell. That's not a good look. We have to get ourselves together because we know
This call is from a federal prison.
there's a mess out there in them streets. We are taking each other lives like we playing a video game. You know, and to say it. So I'm dedicating my life to trying to help these youth. If I gotta go from state to state, I'm willing to do it. I owe them that much of my life, and I'm going to do it. God willing, I get up out of here. That's my mission: is to travel the country and help these children.
Woo!
Anything else,
Keep
Miss
going.
Brown?
Shakieta sound like we got some work to do. Keep
Yes.
going.
and,
We want you to
and
keep going.
I'm in here. I'm in here with these young guys, and I try to tell them, soon as their young homeboys come in, these guys will snatch them up, put them in every wrong thing in a book to do what they've been doing on the street, but they don't want to guide them to education. And that's one thing that I was blessed with when I did come to prison. I knew what I did wrong, and I at least try to make some kind of insurance. So I went to school, and I've been going to school for the last 25 years, from degrees, from trade, from everything. And whenever I graduated, I made sure I sent my mother that picture with me in a cap and gown on. I wasn't that much,
It's awesome.
and
Wow.
it's sad. I'm I'm sitting in here with these kids right now, and I mean, they run around here like this is a big playground. That's where I got the name "Prison is not a playground" from looking at these guys running around these prisons like they just went to the playground. This is prison. People lose their lives in here for a book of stamps, a two to fish sandwich. People have died from that. And one thing I want to let these kids know out there right now: if you want to meet the most conniving, uncaring, trifling, dangerous people in the world, you'll meet every last one of them. And they walk around and smile in your face and stab you in the back the next day. That's what's in prison. There's nothing fun about this. This is one of the most miserable places a person would ever want to be. One night is not worth this. It's not. And it said, it hurt me to my heart because I helped you contribute to this. And we have to find what we wrong first before we can correct our mistakes. And I have paid for the last 36 years. Miss Brown, this phone is getting ready to cut off. Well, I'm in prison. I'm not on the street yet. And so the phone is going to go in the next 15 minutes. I very, very much appreciate you all giving me this time for this platform, and I'll be looking forward to next week. Thank you very much.
Call me tomorrow.
Say it
Okay,
again.
guys. He's gone. He'll call me tomorrow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's deep. That was deep.
Those are the kind of messages that we're trying to get out to our children. And I mean, he's in there. And the one thing that stood out to me, and I talk to Antonio often, but the one thing that stood out to me because it was very important for me to bring him into this conversation. And everybody out there watching, whether you're young, old, I mean, we have to push it. The one thing I got a lot out of his message, guys. Don't get me wrong. But look at the control that these people have. He had 15 minutes on that phone and he had to go. These kids have these cell phones and electronics and all this stuff, and they spend hours and hours and hours and hours on it. And nobody, was controlling that. They have that freedom. But once you lose your freedom and all that he has just said, that's where you end up at. He could only be on here with us for 15 minutes and didn't have a choice. But we're going to get back to Keita because that was powerful. Keita, give me some feedback. My head still, hey, look, my head is still swinging.
Okay. Oh gosh, she said some great things. And one of the things I love the most is his book. His very creative and yet unorthodox way of how he's approaching society, right? Is much needed. And so to be able to capture and not just capture, but when you capture, provide that wisdom that they're going to catch, right? That they're going to digest it and it's going to harvest in some type of manner, prayerfully in a positive way. And 99% of the time, it's positive. Whether it's sooner or later, but it always harvests. But he said something, and it's sad with just our new generation now. They go to prison or they go to jail, county jail, and it's like a playground. It's like out there at recess, and they're losing lives. And it's almost like our society has become crippled. They become extremely crippled to someone taking care of them. The times of hard work, putting it in, it is pretty much kind of thing of the past. You even look at Uber and ride sharing. 99% of the people, many people just sitting out here jumping in Uber. Yeah, it's good money, but are you serving a purpose, right? It's not meant for everyone to drive Uber because, or drive Lyft. You got to look at purpose and calling. And so when you stand in purpose and calling, your purpose and calling typically comes from your greatest pain. And your greatest pain in life was placed there to teach you a lesson, to help you grow so that you can reach back and teach another person. I love how he's been in there 35 years, but even though he's been in there 35 years, he does not have that crippled mind of an institutionalized offender. And so that's major. For him to even have all his I's dotted and all his T's crossed, his living arrangements, his purpose, like that's commendable. We have a lot of men come in and out, come through. We come through and come in contact with a lot of men through our transitional home because we do post incarceration. I have the federal government calling me every day. I have the state of North Carolina, different states calling me every day of these individuals. They're needing some place to live, but they're coming back to a society that's crippled, that don't have all of the resources, far and few in between, of the resources for them to not go back into recidivism. Because regardless of what, this life you gotta live it. And it's not getting easier, it's getting harder. So they got to take care of their families. They got to take care of themselves. And if you don't put them in a position or hand them the things that they need, they're going to go bad. It's just next second nature. And so I'm grateful that I have been led, and I didn't choose it. God chose me. I've just been great at it. And I'm grateful for it because I'm an example for my family and the families to come before me and after me. But it's needed. It's not enough resources out here. I get people call all the time. It's resources, but it's not enough housing. How can you live, or how can you feel comfortable with taking yourself to that next level if you don't even have adequate housing? You're worrying about living in a hotel paying these high fees, or you're living about sleeping on the streets or in a sleeping bag or in a car. You can't. It's not possible. Mentally, it's not going to help you. It's going to hinder you. So here at Another Chance House of Refuge, we value the individual that is ready and prepared. You got many boarding houses out here. You have many different things, but it takes a very strong individual to change their mind, because in order for you to change your life, you got to change your mind. So it starts there, and that's where we start at Another Chance House of Refuge. Antonio was awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kenny, I'm gonna let you jump in here for a minute.
Yeah,
And
because
I'm listening to what Antonio
my
said, and
mind is
I'm
blown.
listening to what I know, right? Shakita over here got my head going,
I'm
and I'm
telling
gonna
you,
back it up and I'm
it's
gonna back
just,
it up. I'm gonna
oh
back
my
it up a
God.
little bit, Keita, because I saw something this weekend, y'all. I'm a crybaby. I talk a lot of trash, but I'm a crybaby. Okay. I saw something this weekend that literally had me in here, boo hoo, crying. I wasn't even watching TV. I was in here working on some stuff, and the news popped up, and there was a shooting here in Atlanta. And I understand where you are, Keita. You're getting them when they return back to society. I understand Antonio getting them whilst they're in there, and trying to get to that point to whip. Let's reach them before they get there. This situation I'm talking about over the weekend. It was an apartment complex somewhere here in Atlanta, Georgia, somewhere. But someone started shooting, and this is in the apartment complex outside area. Kids are out there playing. There was about 5 or 6 kids. All took off running except for two. These kids they looked to be about 6 and 7. And they stood there watching like it was a video game. And they showed this video on the news. And I'm like, we have become so desensitized. We have desensitized our children. You have a 6, 7, 8-year-old standing out watching somebody firing gunshots in the parking lot, and they don't even run. They stand to watch. We have to get them before they get to prison. We have to get them so that they don't have to come to you, Keita. But when these kids are standing up seeing this stuff, I mean, and they pointed it out. There was like, look at those kids. They didn't even run. And I sat in here and I cried because it's like, what is happening to our children? They have become desensitized.
Definitely a war on the mind. It's a war on the mind, and if you want to control the masses, you control the mind, and it's unfortunate, but it's truth. And so, like you state, we have to be proactive instead of reactive. And being proactive look like having those different community resources, having those different community organizations like the Big Rig Kids, and other nonprofit organizations, or even for-profit LLCs, corporations. It doesn't matter, but the time has come where we have to step in, and not step in because it makes money. Because everything, if you don't have the money, then you can't do it. What happened to the times where you was able to go and pay $35 and your child can play sports, or your child can be in after school? Now everything is pretty much a college tuition, so it makes it hard. Remember, if you control the masses by controlling their mind, you won.
Very, very, very true. People sit down and look at me and they'll say, oh, you got it going on. You're doing this, you're doing that. I don't get paid for this stuff. Y'all probably got more money in y'all pocket than I do because a lot of my own money go into this stuff. So at the end of the day, I feel, and I'm gonna keep saying this: if everybody take at least one child, just one, Keita take one, I take one, Kenny take one, this would take, then maybe we can make a difference. But when we put in our minds that it's not my problem, that's happening over there. Like right now with this war with Ukraine, I feel so bad for those people. But our children are fighting a war right here in this country every day, every minute of the day.
That's so true.
When and how are we going to start saving our children?
We're better together, but unfortunately, it just goes back into history where we were taught to be divided. We were programmed to be divided, and so that is our Achilles heel, being united as one. Because, as you know, teamwork makes the dream work, and there's power in unity. And so, until we get to that space of being united, truly having that united front, we're going to continue to see the chaos. And I hate to say it's going to get bad before it get worse. But I'm grateful for Big Rig Kids and just organizations like Another Chance House of Refuge and other organizations that's out here that's taking a step, because if you can only each just one, you're doing your part.
I need you to jump in here because I know you have something on your mind.
My mind is I got circuits popping right now. Okay, I got fuses blowing. I'm just like, oh my god, where you come from, Shakieta? They don't make no more of you, do they? Man, I'm like, I'm listening to her talk, and I'm just like, she speaks my language.
And I figured you would get it because we've had this discussion before. It's like there, and even that's on the short end, but there are so many programs out there for women. Women get assistance in so many different areas, and men, it's like they a man, they could go out there and dig, root, chop, whatever to make it. But
Yeah,
here it is, a woman who saw that need
and
and
just
acted on it. So I'm really impressed with that
yeah,
because a lot of times our guys get this short end of the stick in a lot of ways.
I'm totally. I didn't mean to cut you off, Shakita. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said thank you. No,
Oh,
I said thank you.
but you are amazing, man. I'm listening to you, the word you use, and just it's just like, wow, this is the epitome of what a human being should be right here. You know, you and her both, sis. But I'm blown away. I'm taken aback. I see where your daughter gets that from. I'm just like, wow, oh my god. Actually, what's going on in my mind, I have to use that new Apple processor for my brain now because I'm slow. I'm trying to process and keep up. And it's just like, wow. But I feel it. I love it. I respect it. I honor it. Hats off to you, man. That is that right there is. I've never even known anybody to do that. You know, I've heard of like halfway houses and things like that for people who are, but then again, there are women in those programs too. But just for men coming out and when you were talking about how they get caught back up in the cycle because everything out here is a dysfunction, you know, and plus they're behind the eight ball with a record and everything, and it's just like, so it's like a revolving door. They go back in and become institutionalized, but you are truly changing that, and I just gotta say,
The funny thing about it, God is so amazing. Because when I first started, I thought I was going to be working with women. I was like, I was going to work with women. But whenever I came across the house, there were certain stipulations to the house that forced me to work with men. And it was, it wasn't even a force, but it was like I was redirected because it goes back to my upbringing. I didn't have a father to raise me. And it's extremely important to have a fully functional family unit. And it's only right that you start at the man, because in order for you to heal the whole head, the whole family, you got to start at the head. You got to start at the head. Remember, it's in the mind. And so when you reach the head, which is the man, you're able to change him, which trickle downs into changing the family. So it made sense. My time frame, just my all of my life being around men and being able to understand, relate, and I've been doing it all my life, and I was just redirected. So I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful. It's a lot. It's tough work, but I was made for it. So it's a calling. It's a purpose, and everybody can't really move in that purpose and understand the man. And I was able to understand the man because I lacked the father. So I took the time to figure out, what was it. I studied the word. What is it? Let's go back to truth. Truth don't change.
Sure
Everything
don't.
around you, but truth never changes. And so I just started doing the work, and I saw where you change the men, you change your whole family.
Yes, 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 from the top to the middle to the bottom, all the way down to the flow. Yes, yes, yes. And that's what makes the difference. I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
And the fact that you said if everybody would follow their calling, then we all would be doing what we're supposed to be doing in life. If somebody told me I would be at this age that I am now, writing children's book and dealing with children, I think y'all crazy. My kids grown, they all gone, the grandkids gone. It's just me and my husband. Hallelujah. But then God had a different plan for me. It wasn't my plan. He had it for me. So figure out what your purpose and your calling is and get to work. And we're gonna pause right here. Kenny, any questions, any comments? Because we
Yeah,
want to thank them for joining us.
I want to say when you're talking about the purpose and the calling, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. Let me just this background. A lot of people don't know, but if they really sat down and thought about it, they're. This is how I think. I think our first purpose here on this earth is to love people, and the second purpose, you can call it second nature, is to express that love any way we desire, and it's in that expression that people don't know how to do it, and they get lost and twisted. But if you can do anything, and reach people because it's love that's directing it. And I got chills and bumps and goosebumps from Shakieta, man. I'm like, her spirit is just like, give it here, give me some more, come here. And it's a beautiful thing to even witness, to be just to see it actually creating, watching the God or goddess create is what it's like. It's watching you create, and and you're helping other people to create and become better and be better, and they're helping other people and touching other people. And like you said with the mind, that analogy you gave with the head, and because if you cut the head off a snake, it's done. It
Done.
is done. But you educate that head, and you're able to guide that head where you want it to go. If it can be directed by love, that's all I'm saying. I wish I had a firecracker thing right now, because I'm got some overload going on. Yes,
Kenny,
yes,
I hear you say, I'm going to give it another analogy because
yeah.
you said you guide it where you want it to go. I'm going to take it in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
It says, if a man is hungry and we give them a fish, we feed them for that day. But if we teach them how to fish,
Exactly.
then they're going to eat for life.
Yeah.
So that's the key right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because and we use that word purpose, but I'm going to use another word, figure out what your calling is.
Yeah.
Because once you figure that out, all of it, love is going to be in it already. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But I can't look at Shakieta and say, well, this is what Shakieta's doing, so I'm going to go and get me a house too. Because that's not my calling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here doing stuff with children that I never thought I would be doing. I know that's my calling because I done tried so many other things in life and it just did not work out. But this right here, you always tell me, this your baby. Yes,
That's
this
your
is my
baby.
baby.
Yep.
So I find, and it takes some of us later in life than it do others.
It does.
And it doesn't matter as long as you find it.
Yeah. And they're gonna find it because love is gonna be there. Once you tap into love, it's gonna manifest itself. You know,
Yes,
and you're gonna reach people, touch people. Shakieta and Renee. Shakieta and Renee. Oh, Grandma Polly.
you
I'm sorry,
fine.
guys. I'm sorry.
You are funny. Kenny, we got any comments out there?
Oh
Any
man, there's a
questions
ton of
anybody have out
comments.
there?
Ton of comments. Let's put something out here. Sinitra. Let's. Can you see it? A different plan is that you were obedient to. Thank you both for your obediences.
Okay.
For
Hi,
being.
Sinitra.
That's awesome.
Good.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
You got people. They just yes, facts. You know what I mean? Everybody's just they're in awe. I want to thank
Well,
actually. I want to thank everybody. There's so many names that were on tonight. Too many to mention, but
yes.
I really do want to thank all you guys for taking time out of your day and being inspired and motivated by the beauty of Shakieta and the awesomeness. It is a wonderful thing to see. And just thank you for taking time out of your evening and joining Grandma Polly in these deep conversations that she is changing the world with. One at a time, right, sis?
Yes. And you know what's about to happen?
Yeah.
What's about to happen? We just got that talking about our men being incarcerated. And we have a lot of them missing from our community. And we know this is Grandma Polly. But Grandma Polly has another name too. And it's not Renee. Don't even type that in.
Sheridan?
Not my, no, Grandma Polly. Not the creator, the dog.
Okay.
Grandma Polly has another name. And the first person who could type, Kenny gonna have to monitor it. The
Okay.
first person who could type that name in. And everybody had one of these. Everybody in life has had one of these.
You want me to give him a hint?
Um, she's missing from the neighborhood.
You want me to give him a hint?
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, I'm gonna just say TP, everybody. TP. Yeah,
Show
you
me,
getting it?
show me that one.
Huh? Come on, think TP. Who got all these TV
Show
shows
me
out?
off with that one.
TP. I don't want to give them too much because they don't know it. All I'm
I
saying.
know. Well, okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about her. Grandma Polly is the legal guardian to Kaden and Sasha because her son Josh is away in the military. The twins' mother died during childbirth, and because he was in the middle of his career, somebody had to have the children, and a lot of parents who are single parents in the military, when they first start out, they have to have somebody to be guardian over their children. Well, that's what Grandma Polly did. So when she inherited those children, Grandma Polly, she stopped driving trucks. She took the twins in, but she lives in a community with other children. And this is a prime example of the word that I'm looking for. She's that one. When I was growing up, everybody worked except for maybe one or two grandmothers in the neighborhood. And they did everything with and for the children in that community. but we used to call them something else. They were the
There it
of the
is.
neighborhood. Who said it? I mean,
Reese.
what did they give you an answer?
Reese.
Reese can't and win no card tonight.
Chico.
Just those two.
What about that one?
I tell you, I can't see it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
You
So
have to
you
tell
are you
me.
gonna tell the answer?
I am. Was what did they say?
They got Big Mama,
Who
Grandama,
said Big Mama?
Grandama, Big Mama.
Who said
Uh,
Big Mama?
the first one to say Big Mama
Yeah,
was okay. I'm putting her up.
I can't see.
Reese.
Reese, you cannot win the card. Nobody else said Big Mama.
Yeah. Chico.
Chico didn't win either.
Okay. No, this Jackie. Jackie Singleton said it after those two said it.
I'm gonna bar Reese and Chico and Sinitra from ours for commenting on our show. Jackie, I'm gonna give you this card tonight because they gave you the answer. Y'all gotta stop giving folks answers. Congratulations, Jackie. I'll reach out to you after the show. But y'all remember, we had big mamas in the neighborhood. There was one little lady that would chastise everybody else when no other adults were around. And they were those big mamas. Those are some of the things that we're missing from our neighborhood today. Because you have parents who are working 2 and 3 jobs, the children are home monitoring and raising themselves, and there is no big mamas around to swat you on your butt. No big mamas around to tell on you. No big mamas around to jack you up and say, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. So, I mean, we have lost so many things from our culture and in our communities. Well, Jackie, yes, y'all, this is Grandma Polly, and she has her bun in the back. She got a little bun, and she loves her cowboy hats. That's why I wear hats all the time.
She's a Dallas Cowboy fan.
No, we not. No, we not. And to be honest with you guys, Grandma Polly was actually created in the image of my grandmother Pauline. That all these dolls have significance. And this one was created in memory of my grandmother Pauline.
Pauline Myers Jackson.
Yes.
My grandmother.
PMJ. She would let you know that.
PMJ.
I am PMJ.
She has some
What
other.
attitude?
She has some other words in there too.
Oh yes. What attitude? I just made this one a little calmer. You know, she don't use the choice words. Just made her a little calmer. But anyway, you know, you guys, what else you guys want to, Keita, your final words, put it out there. Kenny, you can come in and then I'll close out.
Yeah, is
Oh,
Keita coming back on next week too? Because I need more.
we're going to
I
bring Keita back, but next week I actually have, oh Lord, excuse me, Osceola Thomas.
Okay,
He wrote the book, The Streets Cannot Have My Son.
got you.
And
Awesome.
that's an awesome book too.
All right, but
If
Shakieta,
he's coming back,
we gotta give Shakieta like a 2 hour special, man.
he's
Two or
coming
three
back.
hours. No, I'm talking 2 or 3 hour special if she got the time, cause she is. Ain't no word to express what she doing, man.
He's gonna get back.
All
He's
right.
welcome to come back anytime.
Hey,
yeah, Renee. No,
Yes. So, any final words, Keita?
just continue being the light that you are in your way, whether you are a cashier or CEO. Do your job in excellence and show up for others. Most importantly, show up for you.
T.
You have any final words, Kenny?
Yeah, just on the back of what Keita said, sending light and love to you. May you feel it, and may it overshadow any darkness that you may be feeling in your life.
Awesome, awesome. Man, I want to thank all of you guys out there who joined us tonight. I hope you shared it. I hope you guys gave us some heart. And if you like what you saw tonight, give us some more hearts as we close this out. And I want to thank you all again. I'd like to give a special thanks to our guests via telephone, Mr. Antonio Bonds. Remember, go and purchase his book. Prison is not a playground. It's on Amazon now. I had the privilege of reading it before it even hit the market. Every child, every parent should be reading this book. Shakieta, oh my God, thank you, Shakieta. Thank you for being here. Keep on doing what you do, girl. We need more people to get involved in turning our communities around. One thing for certain, and two things for sure, honey. You are definitely the definition of my brother's keeper. Somebody asked, what is my brother's keeper? Who is my brother's keeper? Look in my dictionary,
Point right there.
and it will say Shakieta Maloye.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I got to meet you. It was last week, right, or the week before last? I'm
2 weeks
trying.
ago, her daughter was
Yeah,
on.
and I felt your spirit then, and I was like, man, I wonder. And when Renee told me you were going to be on, I was like, oh, all right. I've got to see what the rest, but it's all, and I still is the tip of the iceberg because, I mean, you already know. You're doing
It,
so
it,
much,
it is,
man. You're doing so much
it is,
to
it
make
is
this
so
world.
much. Because see, I know Keita coming back, regardless. But Mr. Barnes get his parole and he gets out.
Yeah,
The two of y'all coming together on here, and it's going to be beast.
yeah, and Gilliard too. Um, Gilliard want to put you in contact with him.
Oh, Donald.
Donald Gilliard. Yeah,
Yes. Oh, Donald coming. Donald, since you brought that up, me shout Donald out because Donald got some things going on. Um, May 21st.
okay.
Remember when he was on, he talked about the play he did, God's Trombone?
Yeah.
He's actually doing that. He's presenting that play in Kane Street, South Carolina, May 21st. And I will be in the house. Yes,
Awesome.
yes. So he's
Awesome.
coming back on to talk about that. But yeah, he's starting to play back up. Keita, you might want to meet us in Kane Street that weekend. It's not
I
far from
will.
Charlotte. Say
You know,
again?
that's hometown. That's hometown there. That's the area.
Yeah,
King
but
Street.
yeah, so maybe we all could just go down there, and support that because he's bringing it back to life. That COVID's dying down now. So Donald's coming back on before that. So I may bring you on with him with then too, Keita. And I just want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, KJ Multimedia Solutions of Marietta. And if you need your videos done or you need your show set up like this, he do all this stuff. Y'all reach out to my brother. He'll take care of you. I tell you, he got you.
And I was looking at that intro. I was like, cool, that's dope. I like that.
Well, thank you. Thank
The
you.
darn thing.
Yeah.
Y'all reach out to my brother. Get. And that ain't all he do. Let me tell y'all.
Oh, Lord.
Him and his wife sell houses too. They real estate agents. So y'all can get your videos done, buy your
You trying to make me blush, girl. I see you.
house. Cause girl, he good. And I ain't just saying that because he's my brother. Y'all saw the intro. He did the darn thing.
Yes.
And now I'm gonna say I'm serious. I'm back to being serious now. This is always my reminder. When we bring on adults, we're talking about things that can help families, our children, and our communities. But my biggest pet peeve is bring me some children. We have kids in the community who are doing great and awesome things, and we want to highlight them. I don't want to see on the news where kids are running from bullets. I want to show that these kids are doing awesome things in their communities where they're not out here shooting bullets and running from bullets. Because we have a lot of kids who are doing awesome things. And we want to highlight them. I want to meet them. So I can present them to y'all and it'll start changing our way of thinking.
Changing the
That not
world.
all children are bad. Not all kids are out there living in chaos. Bring me the babies, y'all. Contact us through social media. Follow us on social media. And we look forward to seeing you all again next week because Mr. Barnes will be back. And we have Osceola Thomas. His book is off the chain too. Next Thursday, same time, same place, 7 to 8. I love you guys.
Love you. And Keita, if you don't mind staying on after.
Okay.
All right.
Here come the big rig kids, roll with the big rig kids. Let's have fun here to try to you to such amazing places with the big rig kids. Those helpful big rig kids, see how they get and grow and get to know amazing things. Learn with the big rig kids, and you see how it is to have adventure days and hang and play with all your friends. Because the big rig kids know what it is to live. The most exciting and inviting life is positive. Sapphire with the voice of wisdom keeps the story